So I've had a lot of people asking me, DRC, can you do a memory tier list? And I keep thinking to myself, like, I can't really do a memory tier list because memories are useful for different things in the game. Like, some memories are useful in VE Tower, whereas at the same time they're completely useless for PvP. And I don't really want to like try to break down the memories into two categories, like these are good in PvE and these are good in PvP, and have to make two separate tier lists. And then also I'd have to make a tier list for like which memories do you DX, which ones do you not DX, because some of them are better DX, some of them are better not DX'd, and it's just like a whole big mess when it comes to memories, right? So instead, as a compromise, what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to show you guys the memories that I think I have used the most in the game since starting, memories that I think have value, memories that I think you guys should be DXing or working on, and I'll say like this memory is, you know, okay without DXing, or you guys should be DXing this memory, so on and so forth. So the very first memory I'm going to start with is this free to play memory right here, Justice Told, and this increases character's power by 35% when equipped by a UA high student. That part doesn't really matter, but then here comes the important part. If there are any UA high teachers on the team, increases character's speed by 25%, which is easy to achieve, and when battle starts, decreases a single opponent's speed by 20% for 3 turns. This is still a very good memory when it comes to PvP, and you can still run it all the time in PvP. Now the thing is, you have to have it DX'd, because if you don't have it DX'd, you can see even up to level 3, it does not reduce the opponent's speed, and that makes the memory pretty much useless. There are plenty of memories out there that give your team speed and give your team more than 25%, but there are no other memories out there that reduce the enemy's speed, at least that are UR memories like this memory does. So that makes this memory invaluable when it comes to PvP. And especially with the speed meta coming back, you guys are going to want to invest in this memory as a free-to-play memory. The next memory I have picked out is the new Full Power Young Ones memory that came out with the most recent anniversary. And this one increases character skill impact by 40% if there are any UA high students on the team. When used in a third successfully executed skill chain, increases critical hit rate of all allies by 15% for 3 turns, and critical skill impact by 20% for 3 turns. This is one of those memories that I do not think you need to DX, because as you can see at level 1, the only thing that changes between level 1 and DX is the amount of skill impact that you get right here, from 20% to 40%. The crit rate doesn't change, the skill impact down here doesn't change, so it's not really a memory that's worth DXing. So you can leave this memory at level 1 if you get multiple copies of it. This is a memory I'd keep the copies separate, that way you have multiple copies of this memory to use in VE Tower. This memory is very good for VE Tower because it increases the crit rate of all allies by 15%, and it counts as a technical hit. So a memory that does technical hits plus critical hits is a really good memory. So this is actually like a solid VE Tower memory, and the next VE Tower is about to go crazy. The next memory I think is really good is called Will Protect It. This one increases critical hit rate by 40% when equipped by a pro hero character. It increases character's critical skill impact by 15% for 3 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain, and then increases character's plus ultra gauge by 10% when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain. So this has a double technical hit on the memory, it has a plus ultra gauge raise, and it has critical hit. This memory is literally everything you could ever look for a VE Tower memory, and it is very, very good. There is once again no point in DXing this memory, because at level 1 to DX, all it does is change your critical hit rate from 30% to 40%. Yes, that extra 10% crit is nice, but it's not necessary, especially in VE Tower. 30% is still plenty of crit if you ask me. The next memory I think is fairly useful is called New Year's Feast. This is a limited memory, so you're not going to be able to get it right now, probably until the next New Year's, so just keep that in mind. Next time New Year's comes around, be watching out for this memory. It increases character's power by 40% when equipped by a UA high student class 1A character, reduces damage to character by 20% for 2 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain, so that is a technical hit, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 2 when used in a third successfully executed skill chain up to 2 times, so double technical hit, and then reducing action skill cooldown time by 2 is massive and very, very good, and you don't even have to DX this memory to get that action skill cooldown time of 2, so that's also massive as well. The only thing that changes between level 1 and DX DX is the amount of power and the amount of damage reduction you get. This one might sort of be worth DXing, but not really in my opinion. I wouldn't DX it, but if you want a memory that reduces damage a little bit more, this could be a memory for you potentially, but it's just, I don't think it's worth DXing in my personal opinion. It's good enough as it is at level 1. You're really mainly going to be using this in VE Tower. The next memory is a Badman Tournament, another limited memory that you guys are not going to be able to get right now, but if you were lucky enough to pull a copy of this memory is literally like the best speed memory in the game. It's so freaking good. It's really good on Fantasy Ida if you have Fantasy Ida. So what this memory does is it increases character speed by 50% when equipped by a male character, increases characters plus ultra move skill impact by 20% if there are any UA high class 1A characters on the team, and every turn increases character speed by another 5% for 3 turns, and plus ultra gauge by 5%. Now this is one I do recommend DXing because you can see the speed difference. 35% speed up to 50% speed is a massive difference, especially when it comes to PvP. So if you are lucky enough or were lucky enough to get a copy of this memory, you guys should be putting all of your extra UR limit break tickets or any extra copies into this memory to be able to DX it. Actually, I would keep the copy separate and just use UR limit break tickets and try to get, 2 or 3 copies of this memory. It's literally that good. It's so good. So I would keep that in mind for this memory. The next memory is Great First Shrine Visit. It prevents character from getting a status ailment 2 times when battle starts. It increases character's critical hit rate by 40% when equipped by a female character. In the current meta right now, we are running, female characters with the new Red or Araka. Juro still in there sometimes, the new Fantasy Sue. So lots of female characters to choose from. Nullifying status ailments is good. Giving yourself critical hit rate is good. And then from the 3rd turn onwards, increases the power of all allies by 15%, which is good, and gives them the ability to evade 1 time. That's good as well because that's on the 3rd turn where you have the plus ultra turn, so giving all of your allies the ability to evade is good on turn 3 because that's going to help you survive the plus ultra turn. So that makes this memory actually very useful when it comes to PvP, at least in my opinion. This is another one of those ones that I don't think is necessary to DX, but when you do DX it, you go from 1 status ailment nullification to 2 status ailment nullifications. So that is something to keep in mind if you guys are thinking that you want extra status ailment nullification. Wow, that is a mouthful. The next memory, this is an oldie but a goodie. It is friendly reinforcements, increases character skill impact by 45% when equipped by a UA high class 1A character, increases character's power by 15% for 3 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain, increases character's defense by 10% for 3 turns when used in a second or later successfully executed skill chain, increases character's plus ultra move skill impact by 20% for 3 turns when used in a 3rd successfully executed skill chain. This is a very good memory for VE Tower when it comes to technical hits. It's also a really good memory for taking on things like Climax Battle or just any event where you need a lot of damage. Throw this on Fantasy Bakugo and away you go. You have a 99,999 hitting character almost every single turn. So this is a very good memory. You do want to DX this memory because the percentages between level 1 and DX level 1 are very different. And you also get the increased plus ultra move skill impact from 10% to 20%. So that's actually a pretty big difference. So you do want to make sure you are DXing this memory. The next memory that I would recommend DXing is Snatch 10 million points. This one increases characters max HP by 40% when equipped by a UA high student. Also shortens characters action skill cooldown time by 2 every 3 turns up to 4 times. Besides the New Year's Feast right here that can shorten action skill cooldown time by 2. I believe Snatch is the only other UR memory that can shorten action skill cooldown time by 2, but it does have to be DX'd to shorten it by 2. Otherwise, it's only going to shorten it by 1. That's why I recommend DXing this memory right here. And any memory that can shorten a character's action skill cooldown by 2 is going to be a very useful memory. So that's why I have this memory on the list. Its other effects of increasing max HP, like that's all right, but not super great. The best part here is the reduction in action skill cooldown time. The next memory, it should be to nobody's surprise that Adventure Awaits is in fact on this list. Adventure Awaits to this day is still one of the best memories in the game. And you do want to DX this because it's going to increase your plus ultra gauge once you DX it. If you don't DX it, it doesn't increase your plus ultra gauge, so you want to make sure you're doing that. Once per battle, increases characters plus ultra gauge by 5% for every different type of character on the team. Increases characters' abilities depending on the types of characters on the team. Increases characters' power by 25% if there are any strength type characters on the team. Skill impact by 30% if there are any ABL type characters on the team. Max HP by 30% if there are any int type characters on the team. Critical hit rate by 25% if there are any mind type characters on the team, and speed by 25% if there are any destruction type characters on the team. This is still literally such an amazing memory to run in PvP. Like, throw this on a Fantasy Sue and she's going to hit big damage. She's going to have the speed you want. She's going to have the crits you want. Like, this memory is still very, very good when it comes to PvP. It's also actually still very good in PvE. This is an all-around memory. It's good in PvP and PvE. It's just a really good memory. So if you guys are lucky enough to pull a copy of this, make sure you are DXing it. If you were to ask me if you pull like 2 copies of it, should you keep them separate? Yes, absolutely. And this is one you should be DXing with your UR limit break tickets. The next memory, I would not recommend DXing. It's not really worth it. It's not really necessary. If you want to, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. Is Happy Hot Pot Party. This memory for a long time was referred to as the cheat code of VE Tower. Now we've gotten more memories out that make it feel less like a cheat code, but this memory is still used all the time and it's still a very good memory for VE Tower. So what it does, if equipped by a UA words, if equipped by a UA high class 1A character, increases characters plus ultra gauge by 50% when battle starts. Also increases characters critical hit rate by 15% for 2 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain, a max of 5 times. So that is a technical hit, a plus ultra gauge raise, and a critical hit rate up by 15%. The main difference between level 1 and DX level 1 is that you get an extra percentage on your plus ultra gauge raise. So at level 1 you're only getting 25%. By the time you fully DX this memory, you're getting a 50% plus ultra gauge raise. So it is kind of worth DXing this memory, but I don't think it's necessary. I think actually getting it to like level 2 or 3 is kind of more optimal, and then you're not wasting as many, you know, limit break tickets and stuff like that. But I'll leave that up to you guys. But this is one of those memories where, once again, if you get multiple copies of it, keep it separate. Don't put them into each other. That way you have multiple copies to use for VE Tower. The next memory is gaming and driving. This memory, I don't know that it necessarily belongs on this list, but I'm going to put it here because of this simple fact alone. Critical skill impact by 60%. That is a massive percentage for a memory, and yes, you do have to DX it to get that 60%, but 60% is still insane. That is going to make the white-haired Dobby basically one-shot people if you have this memory fully DX. Like, it's so insane. So when characters burning, increases characters critical skill impact by 60% and critical hit rate by 50%. That's a 50% crit rate as well. That's also insane. Once again, it has to be DX. It's only 40% at level 1, but 40% is still solid. And then also reduces burning damage to character by 40%. So this memory is really good, obviously, on any Dobby character, and it's going to make that Dobby just that much better. Like, literally, imagine a max DX memory of this right here on white-haired Dobby that's level 130. You are one-shotting everybody. It's such a freaking good memory. It's literally so good. Now, the drawback to it, it's only really good on Dobby, so keep that in mind. The next memory is Miraculous Coordination, and this is probably one of my more favorite memories in the game. I've used it quite a bit, like so frequently, honestly, for VE Tower. I use it every single VE Tower for the most part. If you were to go back and look at the past rankings of the top 10, top 20 players, you would be able to see me there and see the memories that I have been using. I think this one's literally like in every single VE Tower. But this one, if equipped by a UA high class 1A character, increases characters plus ultra gauge by 70%, so guaranteed plus ultra on turn 2 essentially, when battle starts. Increases characters critical hit rate by 20% when HP is 50% or higher, easy enough to achieve in VE Tower. Also increases characters critical skill impact by 10% for 3 turns when used in a successfully executed skill chain. So this is a technical hit, a critical hit rate up, and a plus ultra gauge memory all in one. That makes this memory insanely good for VE Tower. Now, this is one of those ones you do have to DX, because otherwise you aren't getting that technical hit and you're only getting the crit rate up and the plus ultra gauge even up to level 3. So you have to fully DX it to get that technical hit. So that is one downside to it. But if you were to ask me what memories should you be working on DXing, this is definitely one of those memories you guys should be working on. The next memory is If It's For My Dream, featuring between Gentle, Criminal, and Deku. And this memory is one I think you could also go without DXing. The only thing that really changes between DXing it and not DXing it is the percentages. You go from 30% and 25% crit on level 1 to 60% plus Ultra Gauge and 30% crit. So it just depends on where you want to be. I don't think you need to be like fully DXing this memory. I would say level 2 or level 3 is plenty, and you can call it a day there. But anyways, for this memory, it increases characters plus Ultra Gauge by 60% once per battle when equipped by a hero, any hero. It increases characters' critical hit rate by 30% if there are any female characters on the team. Both of those things very easy to achieve, so this is a very good memory for VE Tower specifically. Next, we have Let's Be Friends, and this one is also a very good memory. I would say this is the female version of the badminton tournament with the boys. So you have the badminton tournament, which gives 50% speed to a male. Let's Be Friends gives 50% speed. It's not limited to females, but it does have like a little female effect here. So increases character speed by 50%. Also increases character skill impact by 30% if there are any female characters on the team. So in my mind, I think of this as like the female version of Badminton Tournament. But if you're running this memory alongside Badminton Tournament, you have a very fast and a very strong PvP team. Run these two memories with the first memory I showed you, Justice Told, which decreases the opponent's speed, and there's a pretty good chance you're almost always going first in PvP. So this is a memory that you do want to DX because at level 1 you only get a 30% speed boost, so make sure you guys are working on DXing this memory. And last but not least, the memory that I yearn for, the memory that I still do not have, and hopefully will be able to get this summer whenever they decide to redo the summer banners, probably near like end of July, August would be my guess, maybe. I don't know. They did it like they did it like fall last time they did the summer thing, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyways, Splash increases characters max HP by 40% if there are any female characters on the team. It increases speed of all ally UA high students by 10%, reduces action skill cooldown time of all allies by 1 every 3 turns up to 2 times. This is a memory that is both good in PvP and PvE. Reducing action skill cooldown time of all allies is absolutely insane and broken and really good. Giving all UA high students 10% speed may not seem like a lot, but you're giving 10% to all the allies. So if all of them on the team are UA high students, that is a 30% speed up essentially, which is really good as well. And then increasing the character's max HP by 40% is really good. As for DXing, this is one of those memories I don't think you need to DX because it only increases your max HP percentage, and that's all it really changes. So it's not necessary to DX this memory. If you get a copy of it, just be thankful you have a copy of it, because I'm still wanting it, and I consider this to be like one of the best, most sought after memories in the game for anyone that wasn't lucky enough or wasn't smart enough to pull for this memory when it was out. Like I pulled for the Summer Ochako, I didn't keep pulling, and I regret it because this memory is so good. Anyways guys, those are all the memories that I think are useful in the game, like the most useful in the game. If I missed any memories, if you think I missed any memories, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.